Over the years of incorporating sumac, specifically Staghorn Sumac, into the garden-scape, so to speak, has been overall for me a really great experience, and it's a great opportunity to be able to introduce or integrate a native plant into my whole gardening philosophy. But the sumac has offered a lot of unique characteristics, and one of which I really want to specifically focus on today. So we have a stand of sumac trees here, right? They can spread by the roots, but as we look close and begin to look up, we see what look like fruits developing on the underside of these compound leaves, right? Specifically, usually it's on the leaflet veins. So these are called galls, right? So Galls. These are basically just sacs that are full of aphids, but it's a specific type of aphid. And you can kind of tell some of the leaves, it's getting to be late summer, early fall now, and the leaves, the compound leaves that have the galls, are usually the ones to go yellow first. But really for the overall plant, like the overall sumac tree, it doesn't really cause any problems. So basically we have two species of the Sumac Gall Aphid. We have the Malaphus roas and the Malaphus ossifici. So the primary hosts of the Sumac Gall Aphid are going to be the Staghorn Sumac and the smooth sumac, right? The Staghorn Sumac is going to be more up in the northern reaches of North America, and the smooth sumac is going to usually be more down south, although there is overlap between the two species. These specific species of aphids, the Malaphus, are only going to go after the sumac, right? They are not going to go after the cabbage or tomatoes or any other crops that you have. They only go after the sumac. Now in the fall, when the leaves fall, the galls will actually fall with them, right? And they will fall to the floor, the forest floor, right? The ground. And these galls will split open, and the aphids will actually take refuge in the moss, right? Because during the growing season, the sumac creates a more shady environment and damper environment, which may be more conducive to moss growth in certain areas. And so over winter, these aphids will use the moss as actually like a secondary food source, secondary host. And they may overwinter in some of like the younger instar stages, and then once spring hits, they'll turn into adults and fly back up to the leaves and begin that process all over again. Both the sumac trees and the aphids are native to North America, right? So this is a host and pest type relationship that has gone on for a long time. In fact, about 48 million years, right? And there seems to be a balance there. So of course the galls are enlarged pouches on the undersides of the leaves, right? And specifically, it's not going to be on the leaf tissue, it's going to be on that vasculature, right? Those central veins running down the leaflets of the sumac, and it will always be on the underside of the leaf. Once that aphid begins to feed on the leaf, it triggers some type of a response, maybe an immune response in the sumac, and it creates like a sac around the aphid, and then the aphid will multiply. It'll basically clone itself, and then you'll get a bunch of aphids in there, and usually the larger the pouch is, the more aphids are going to be in there, and they will find shelter, protection, and a food source in those galls, right, that the sumac produces. So the galls are initially going to be like a greenish color, maybe fading to yellow a little bit, and then also later on into summer, some of them can begin to develop a reddish coloration to it, right? They almost look like some type of apple or something, right? And generally speaking, these aphids will not cause any serious damage to the sumac, right? I do not know of them ever like killing sumac trees or spreading any specific disease or anything like that, so it doesn't really seem to be that big of a problem, other than some of the leaves might drop off a little bit prematurely, the ones that are affected by the galls, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. And then in terms of predators, right, of these specific types of aphids, it's really unknown, you know, and that maybe that's one thing we can always keep an eye out and continue to try to use our observation skills to see if we ever see any animals, you know, digging through these galls, right? Maybe some small rodents may try to use the aphids as a food source, like protein or, you know, carbs or whatever. Also, you know, if there are ever any holes drilled into the galls, maybe some type of predatory insect may go after the aphids. But you know, there's always a possibility there could be some type of insect predator out there, or whatever the case may be. So it's an intriguing possibility to see if there's another aspect to this whole ecological system that we have going on here. Additionally, I have also attached in the show notes a link to a website. It's the Ohio State University Extension. It's a pretty cool website that goes into detail with certain aspects pertaining to the Sumac Gall Aphid and its relationship with the sumac trees. So definitely feel free to check that out as well. So thank you so much for checking out this video on the Sumac Gall Aphid. Not all plant and pest relationships are always going to go out of control and be really bad for the plants, and this is definitely one example. We can kind of see and appreciate the cycle that takes place between the aphids, the moss, the sumac. Both the Sumac Gall Aphid and the Staghorn Sumac are native, right, to North America. And so really this is an example of ecological balance, and this balance has been maintained for tens of millions of years. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.